My mom called me a monster this morning. Not dramatic upset, not just venting. She looked me in the face over cold coffee at her kitchen table and said, "You are a monster and I don't know who raised you." That was 3 days after my sister's wedding. I still haven't cried about it, which probably says something about me that I don't fully want to examine right now. Here's what happened, and I'm going to try to be as honest as I can, because I've been turning this over in my head every night since Saturday and I genuinely don't know anymore. My sister Priya is 31. She's been with her husband Daniel for 4 years. I always thought something was off about him, but I chalked that up to me being protective and a little jealous of how much of her time he took up. He's charming in that specific way where you can't ever pin down why you feel slightly uncomfortable after spending time with him. Priya loves him. Loved. I don't know which tense is right anymore. 2 weeks before the wedding, I ran into Daniel at a coffee shop near my apartment. He didn't see me. He was sitting with a woman I didn't recognize, and it probably would have been completely innocent, except that he had both her hands across the table, and he was looking at her the way people look at someone they're terrified of losing. I stood behind a display of travel mugs for longer than I should have. Then I left. I spent 2 weeks doing what everyone says you're supposed to do. I went back and forth. I asked my friend Deepa what she would want if she were Priya. I tried to convince myself I'd misread it. I looked up Daniel on Instagram for the first time in years, and saw that he'd had a second account, now deactivated, that a mutual friend had tagged him in once. I couldn't access it. I don't know what was on it. I probably should have tried harder to find out more before I said anything. That's the part I keep getting stuck on. The morning of the wedding, I went to Priya's hotel room while she was getting her hair done. I told her what I saw. I didn't embellish it. I said, "I saw Daniel with someone, and it looked like more than friendship, and I need you to know before you walk down that aisle because I would never forgive myself if I didn't tell you." She went very still. The stylist pretended to focus on a piece of hair she'd already pinned. Priya asked me if I had proof. I said no. She asked me why I waited until now. I said I didn't know how to do it sooner, which is true, and also sounds like an excuse, and I know that. She asked me to leave the room. I did. She married him. The ceremony was fine. I sat in the third row and watched my sister become someone's wife, and I smiled in every photo because what else was I going to do? At the reception, Daniel found me near the bar and said quietly enough that no one could hear, "I don't know what you think you saw, but you need to stay out of things that don't concern you." I didn't respond. I got a glass of water and went and sat with my aunt for the rest of the night. The blow-up happened the next day when Priya told my mom what I'd said. My mom's version of events, as she delivered it to me over that terrible coffee, was that I had always been jealous of Priya, that I had picked the single worst moment possible to make things about myself, and that even if something was going on, it wasn't my place to say anything. When I pointed out that those two positions contradict each other, she told me I was being lawyerly and cold. Priya hasn't called me. I texted her once to say I love her and I'm sorry for the timing even if I'm not sorry for saying it. She left it unread. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. If I'm wrong about Daniel, I humiliated myself and hurt my sister on her wedding day for nothing, and I deserve every bit of the fallout. But if I'm right, and she finds out in a year or 5 years or 10 that I knew something and said nothing, I don't think I could live with that. I made a call. It was a bad moment and maybe I should have done it differently the week before, in a different setting, with more information. I know that. But I'm not sure doing it differently would have changed the outcome, and I'm not sure staying quiet would have been the right thing either. My mom is barely speaking to me. Priya is on her honeymoon. I'm sitting in my apartment at almost midnight with a bowl of cereal I've been ignoring for 40 minutes, and I honestly don't know if I did the right thing or if I just made myself feel better about having information I didn't know what to do with. Am I the asshole for telling my sister what I saw, even without proof, even on her wedding morning?